We're 9 days away from Saints football. Drew Brees days away. And if you're pumped up for Saints vs. Cardinals, hit the thumbs up icon. Like this video. I'm telling you right now, we get 500 likes. I promise you, we walk out of week 1 eating one of these. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down week 1 because the New Orleans Saints are taking on the Arizona Cardinals, and I want to go through the entire starting lineup, offense, defense, and special teams. I'm just going to give you my takes and give you my analysis here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. No matter where you are or how you're watching, we appreciate the Who Dat Nation for taking some time out of their day to hang out with us. Let's start off with the quarterback. Spencer Rattler named QB1 by head coach Kellen Moore. I will say there was a case to be made for Tyler Shough to get the starting reps in week 1. However, I do think that it's a smart decision, and the decision I would have made was starting Spencer Rattler. And I will say it's really, really nice to see number 2 take the field because we're finally going to get to see a true evaluation of Spencer Rattler and see, is he the guy? Is the agenda worth continuing to explore? I mean, last year, he had to deal with so much adversity, so many injuries. He had virtually no wide receivers to throw the ball to. The offensive line was absolutely decimated. And so last year was really, really hard to get a fair and honest assessment of what is this player capable of doing. Plus, he was a rookie. There is growth that will be had going in from year 1 to year 2. And Kellen Moore not shying away from the fact that he will be the starter, and that is his guy for this season. The important thing, guys, we're not getting into this quarterback debate throughout the season. Spencer's our starting quarterback. Tyler's going to keep developing. So Spencer Rattler will be the QB for week 1. It sounds like he will be the QB for multiple weeks and most likely the entire season. I will say if things just go to absolute shit, I would not be surprised if Tyler Shough does take the field. That being said, I'm all in on the Rattlesnake. I'm rooting for this guy to succeed, and I want to see him be the next great Saints QB. Running back, no mysteries here. AK-41. He will be your starting running back. And I'll tell you right now, I think that this is going to be a really, really exciting year for Kamara because you have a really exciting opportunity to finally eclipse 1,000 yards. Last year, you were 50 yards short despite missing multiple games. But this year, I think 1,000 yards is very, very attainable for this guy. The offense is going to heavily lean on the run, and there will be a healthy rotation, in my opinion, between Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, and some other guys operating in the backfield as well. Wouldn't be surprised if you see some Rashid Shaheed. When Taysom Hill gets healthy, probably see him back there. Also wouldn't be surprised if you see Trey Palmer or any of these other speed demons get into the backfield and get active. I think that Alvin Kamara will be heavily leaned on. He will have to split a lot of reps. Hopefully 1,000 yards on the ground can finally happen because this is one of those players. It's shocking to say that he hasn't eclipsed that quite yet. Really, really excited for Alvin Kamara this season. Juwan Johnson, the tight end, he will be the starter. For what it's worth, Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau, they have been placed on the PUP list, meaning they cannot return for the first 4 weeks of game action. But Juwan Johnson this year signed a lucrative deal, 3 years, $30.75 million. Averages out to a little over $10 million a season. And a lot of fans were very critical of that contract. Personally, I wasn't very critical of it because that is very average tight end money in the National Football League at this point. But I will say if you want fans to be happy and if you want to see a successful offense, Juwan Johnson is going to need to live up to his contract. Show and prove to Saints fans and to the rest of the NFL world why Kellen Moore and why Mickey Loomis believed in investing in this player. I think that he does have some promise. I think that he is a player that just needs to be consistent and put together an entire season. Hopefully, Juwan Johnson can do that because he's shown flashes, and Kellen Moore has been known to heavily lean on the tight end position. Juwan Johnson should be getting a lot of run, especially considering the backups right now are, not very top-heavy in talent, if you ask me. Just no disrespect. Juwan Johnson's your tight end 1, though. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandin Cooks, those are going to be your starting 3 wide receivers for this week. For what it's worth, this is a very, 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 can I say very 100 more times, Dylan? Very, very fast wide receiver group. This offense has so much speed. I mean, all 3 of these guys are 4.3 40-yard dash runners at this point. I mean, it's unbelievable. Chris Olave a little bit out of the 4.3, but still my point being, It's unbelievable how quick these guys are. Actually, Chris Olave, 4.39. So all 4.3 40-yard dash guys, unbelievable. And not to mention, the speed is going to be a huge, huge factor. Chris Olave, I don't think we've truly tapped into the full potential of this player. I want to see him stay healthy. I want to see offense in Kellen Moore's scheme plays up for him to make big plays. Rashid Shaheed, one of the best deep threats in the National Football League. I think he is set for a breakout season. And Brandin Cooks, although he isn't the player he used to be, I still think he offers some explosive playability. And you might be sitting here saying, well, where's the size? Well, you traded for it. Devon Vele brought in via trade from the Denver Broncos. The New Orleans Saints sending a 4th and a 7th round pick to attain the 6'5", 210-pound wide receiver. I like this addition because he can be heavily utilized over the middle. He has really, really good hands. He's a possession receiver. And I think in the red zone, he will be a guy that was heavily targeted alongside Juwan Johnson. Will the New Orleans Saints have a 1,000-yard receiver? Just give me a simple yes or a simple no in the comment section. If you want to go above and beyond and prove that you know ball, let me know who you think it's going to be. I am going to say yes, and I believe it's going to be Chris Olave. Let's look at the offensive line here. Right now, at the time of filming this video, reminder, this is 9 days before game day. As injury updates come in, we will provide content, which is why you subscribe, and we'll provide a full Week 1 preview with everything you need to know as we get closer to game day. The starting lineup for the offensive line, Kelvin Banks, your rookie left tackle. He has been phenomenal. He was really, really good. One of the best offensive linemen, not just as a rookie, but in general throughout the preseason. The left guard, you'll see Trevor Penning or Dylan Radunz. I'll get to that in just a second, but Erik McCoy, one of the best centers in the league. If he can stay healthy, I think that this offensive line, despite potentially having to deal with some injuries throughout the season, I think that if you keep him around, everything else can at least stay afloat somewhat. Cesar Ruiz, he's a player that I want to see more from. He has some highs, he has some lows, a little bit of an inconsistent player in my opinion. Talisa Fuaga, I'm really, really, really pumped to see him move from the left tackle to the right tackle side where he is it's his more natural position. But as for the Trevor Penning update, some positive injury news yesterday from Mike Triplett of NewOrleans.football. It's unclear if Trevor Penning will be ready for Week 1, but if not, it should be soon after. He has a turf toe injury. It's on the opposite foot from his rookie year, so that's pretty good news, and it's nowhere near as significant. Reminder, the turf toe injury sidelined Trevor Penning for a significant portion of his rookie campaign. And also good news, he was seen for the first time walking around the locker room without a boot, so that's good news for Trevor Penning. Not sure if he will be starting, but reminder, we will let you know in our Week 1 preview. Really quickly, we're going to take a look at the defensive side, but first, I want to give a shout-out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Chubby's Shorts. We're filming this on a Friday. What a perfect sponsor to talk about because the weekend is almost here, and you know what that means. Football is back, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're ready for some football, let me hear you shout out Chubby's in the comment section. If you're not, well, let me tell you, you got to get geared up with the Chubby's NFL collection, whether you're tailgating, grilling, or riding the highs and lows of Saints game day from your couch. Chubby's has the officially licensed NFL gear to keep you looking like the ultimate fanatic. For a limited time, you can use our exclusive code CHATSPORTS for $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/chatsports. Yes, that does include the NFL collection. Let the thighs out and let the good times roll. And Chubby's is the ultimate football apparel brand. So much so that they created their own fantasy football league. George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and others have come together to assemble the Chubby's League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at a Chubby's polo and shorts combo with their team's logo. You can see it on the screen, absolutely fresh. The Saints gear, so dang clean. The grand champion gets the chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL game tour with a +1, while the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment that only Chubby's could pull off. Head to chubbyshorts.com/thechubbiesleague to learn more and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. And would you look at that? For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving our listeners $10 off with promo code CHATSPORTS. That's code CHATSPORTS at chubbyshorts.com/chatsports. That's $10 off your order with the promo code CHATSPORTS, and that does include the NFL collection. Support the show and let them know we sent you by clicking the link in the comments and description of this video. Let's go to the defensive line, staying in the trenches here. Edge rusher, Jace Young. Edge rusher, Carl Granderson. Those are going to be the two guys on the outside. Reminder, the New Orleans Saints are switching from their traditional 4-3 scheme to a 3-4 scheme, meaning you're going to have 5 down linemen. You're going to have 2 outside linebackers, edge rushers, whatever you want to call them. You're going to have a nose tackle in Devon Godshaw, which I think he is set to have a really good season. Super strong. I think he's going to be really helpful in stopping the run and getting an initial push for the defensive line. And then the defensive end / defensive tackle, whatever you want to call them. I think Cam Jordan, Brian Brzee are going to be the guys on the middle of the defensive line, but not the dead center. That's Javon Godshaw's spot. So you can see right here, you have your starters. You also have some pretty interesting players you could bring into the rotation. And for what it's worth, I'm really, really excited to watch this Saints defense because I think that the defensive side of the football, especially with the starters, is going to be much better than us fans are considering, and a lot of NFL media is even discussing. When we saw the starters against the Denver Broncos starters in preseason week 3, I was very, very impressed. And especially with the defensive line group, sure, there were issues with coverage. There were issues here and there. That's okay. But I think overall, they were pretty solid. We do need to see those pressures that the defensive line was getting turn into production too many times. The starting guys, and honestly, any of the dudes that were blitzing were putting pressure on the quarterback, getting content, or getting their hands on him, but they're not bringing them down to the turf. So I want to see pressures turn to production. That is a theme for the defensive line this year, and that's something that I'm going to be rooting for heavily. Let's go to the defensive back room, starting with the corners, and then we'll get to the safeties. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I think he is going to be set for a really exciting year. It's going to be the first year where he's truly tested as the CB1. He's going to have to play against some of the best receivers that the New Orleans Saints will face. So hopefully he can be a strong cornerback. I really liked this draft pick. He's a press man guy. He specializes in that. And I do think that Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be a player that, as he continues to develop, is only going to get more dominant. You don't have Marshawn Lattimore. You don't have Paulson Adebo. You're going to need somebody to take over. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I'm looking at you to live on an island. Isaac Yiadom, he will be your starting cornerback opposite of Kool-Aid McKinstry. I do believe you will see Quincy Riley rotated in as well because I think Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley decided to side with experience and side with the veteran rather than the young player, the rookie who, still has some development to be had. Not to say that he wasn't impressive. I just think that bringing in Isaac Yiadom in free agency and making him the starter does make some sense. Alontae Taylor will be your nickel back. He is going to have like a little bit of a different star role in Brandon Staley's defense. And if you want to kind of get inspiration and, want to take a look at what it might actually look like, 2 things. 1, he's going to be all over the field. He's going to be making plays everywhere. He's going to be a very vocal leader. That's something that he's embraced this summer. But 2, I encourage you to go look at Jalen Ramsey used in the Rams defense whenever they went on that Super Bowl run. I'm not saying that Alontae Taylor will have a Jalen Ramsey season. I am saying he will be utilized in a similar fashion. The strong safety, free safety, whatever you want to call it, just the 2 safeties we're going to roll with this year as your starters. Justin Reed and Julian Blackmon. Obviously, Tyrann Mathieu retires. Julian Blackmon was the player that was brought in very shortly after in free agency. I liked this addition, and I did really, really want to see Justin Reed and Tyrann Mathieu team up again, especially for the New Orleans Saints, back home for both of them. However, unfortunate that Tyrann Mathieu retired. It's going to be sad to see him go. But for what it's worth, I think that the safety group got a big upgrade based off of last year when Tyrann Mathieu and Will Harris were your starting safeties. I think that Justin Reed and Julian Blackmon is an upgrade in the safety room. And I do believe this entire defensive back squad is severely underrated. I don't think they're getting nearly enough respect. I don't think they're getting talked about quite enough, because you also have some intriguing young depth in Jonas Sanker, Jordan Howden, Rajon Wright. Like, you have some really intriguing players that I think could make an impact as they get rotated in. Really, really excited about the future of this defensive back squad. I think Brandon Staley is setting a strong foundation defensively. Linebackers, we're going to tell you 3, but technically just remember you're only going to probably have 2 linebackers because the edge rushers are outside linebackers, if you will. So Demario Davis, one of the best in the league. Not much to say about him. he rocks. So excited to see him in another season with the black and gold. Really, really looking forward to seeing also how he and Pete Werner can pour into the young linebacker group, because that is a very exciting room, in my opinion. The linebacker squad in New Orleans is probably one of the strongest positions that they have on the roster. You have so much depth, and you have two really quality starters. I do want to see Pete Werner take that big step that we've been waiting for him to do. He has been invested in by the New Orleans Saints. Let's see that pay off, and let's see him be an absolute freak this year for the defense. And let's not forget about somebody I'm a dirty little stut for, Danny Stustman, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to see how Brandon Staley utilizes him. I cannot wait to see this guy suit up on game day. As he said, mustache means war, and I'm really, really eager to see this guy put on the paint, get battle ready, have the neck brace going, and just cause absolute havoc for opposing offenses. The linebacker room, as I stated, in my opinion, is very, very deep. Jalen Ford, Isaiah Stallbird, I do like those players a lot. Both had impressive preseasons, and both have developed really nicely. So I think that this is a strength of the New Orleans Saints roster. Hopefully these guys can be reliable, and hopefully these guys can stay healthy, because if they do, I think the Saints defense is set up for some serious success. Now, what do you think about the New Orleans Saints defense? I was able to discuss every position, all of the starters, and even some of the backups. Do you think that they're going to be good? Do you think they're going to be bad? Do you expect them to be better against the run? Will they struggle getting sacks? I want you to sound off in the comment section and show that you know ball. You can't have a roster breakdown if we're not talking special teams, ladies and gentlemen. So punter, Kai Kroger, he wins the punter battle. Maybe that changes. I seriously doubt it at this point, but maybe, but probably not. James Burnip was brought in as an undrafted free agent out of Alabama. Matthew Hayball, he got cut and he got beat out by James Burnip. Kai Kroger comes into the punter competition and ultimately dethrones James Burnip. So that is going to be your punter for this season. Kicker, Blake Grupe, congratulations to him for winning the kicker battle once again. Charlie Smith is down on the practice squad. I like that. I like keeping him around. I think Charlie Smith, the Irishman, has a hell of a leg, but I think Blake Grupe is just a little bit more reliable and has more experience, so I do like Blake Grupe. He's getting better and better and better. Mr. Automatic from 50-plus yards. Get him some opportunities, and if you want to win your fantasy league, by the way, draft him. Draft Blake Grupe, because no promises the Saints are going to score a lot of touchdowns. He's going to make a lot of field goals. I will say that. Long snapper, Zach Wood. That's not changing. That's pretty awesome. Shout out to him. In terms of the kick return and punt returner, I do think you're going to see a healthy rotation. Expect your starters to be Rashid Shaheed, Kendre Miller. You could potentially swap Kendre Miller in for Velus Jones. You just have two speed demons as your kick returners, both running a 4.31 or a 4.340. Feels like that's pretty hard to stop. So I could see Velus Jones being a heavy contributor in special teams as well, but I do think Rashid Shaheed, Kendre Miller will be the starting kick returners, because remember, you have two back deep in the new kickoff rules, and punt returner, I believe, will be Rashid Shaheed as well. This is all really exciting stuff for the New Orleans Saints. I think that this is going to be a year where there's going to be a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but I think the main focus is building a foundation for sustained success, because in year one, it may not be all sunshine and rainbows, but I do expect the New Orleans Saints to, at the bare minimum, be really, really fun to watch. If you want to get more content in between these videos, I encourage you to follow me on social media. X, TraceGerard48, IG, TraceGerard48_, TikTok, TraceGerard48. If you want to find me on social media, click the link in the comments or description to all my profiles, or simply just search Trizzy Trace on any of these three platforms. Y'all stay gold and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next time.